Hey, Tom Brush, Bob Graham here. It is Tuesday. What day, Tom? The 24th
It is the 24th.
of March. Time is moving ever so fast, ever so slowly. I'm not sure which it is anymore. Seems different every 5, 6 minutes. I want to first, because this is our first time we've managed to get this onto Facebook, so I want to real quickly explain to people what we're doing. Tom and I have been friends on and off, not on and off, just busy in different ways, but really the last couple of years we've spent a lot of time together and just trying to work our businesses out and help each other personally and professionally. And here we are today, just wanted to do something to reach out to people. So we are on Facebook Live and we're on Zoom each morning at 8:30 a.m. because we want to really help people in different ways. So each day we have a theme, what we call today's antidote, and that antidote is the thing that you can do to make things slightly better for today. And Tom, I already see we've got some people listening in. I see Nettie's online early in the morning. Great. I also see, oh, that's good, Tom. You liked it. That's always a good sign. I appreciate that, Tom. Thank you. Usually you don't like my, no, I'm kidding. He likes my stuff all the time. So Tom, I've spoken way too much. I'm going to let you talk.
No, well, Bob, it's great to be here as always. It's funny that, we were talking a little bit beforehand about, some of the things we're dealing with in life today. And my kids were talking about this last night, is that one of the things they really miss at school is routine. My son was like, yeah, I just miss like getting up and going to get, and this was his story. So you'll appreciate this from a 20-year-old. Got up, I go to Starbucks and get a drink, and then I go to class and then have some lunch and then get another Starbucks. And it was just interesting talking about the routines that we get in, and we're in such a different space now that I think one of the biggest challenges is like figuring out what that routine is.
So Tom, let me ask the question everyone is asking right now. Does your son miss his routine, or does he miss going to Starbucks?
No, I think it's probably 50-50. He definitely misses Starbucks, although it's probably helping his wallet. But I think he misses his routine. He has his friends that he's with that he can't really be with in the same way. He's trying to figure out how to go to class and music lessons and voice lessons. And so I think, like all of us, there are bits and pieces of our daily routine that we enjoy. If you go to the office, one of the things about your daily routine is you see people, and you just have those casual conversations that are going on, which I think is what makes life seem more normal. And that's maybe why people are so stressed. One of the reasons why people are so stressed now is that their daily routine is off, and they really don't know how to react and adjust to that.
I think it's also that we don't have that drive to work. My drive to work is like 10, 15 minutes if I go into my office. And in the morning, that's when I'm figuring out exactly what I'm going to focus on. That's the to-do list building out time. And I also think at the end of the day, when work is over, I have that drive home, which is decompression time. It's turn off the work face, put on the home face. And I know I'm having a struggle with that each day. I also see, as much as I try to draw the walls between work and play, that it's easy to go back to work at 6:30 or 7 o'clock after dinner and do a little more work. It's easier to just check email over the weekends, more than, not on my phone, but on my computer. And once you sit down at the desk, next thing you know, you're doing stuff and you're answering things, and the lines are blurred. And I think that creates a lot of potential for people to burn out, especially at a time when we don't really know what tomorrow holds in terms of work.
Right.
We're in a really fluid situation.
Absolutely. And I think that's, maybe the thing that people have to start now trying to figure out is, because I have a feeling we're at least 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month into this type of work environment. And I think it's going to be key is, how do you figure out your routine? What is it becoming? That's one of the things I love about this, is now my routine is I get up, I can do a little bit of whatever, I can check social media, post some things, respond to some emails. But then I know at 8:30 or 8:15, I'm going to log on and we're going to connect. and this is part of my new routine. And I think that has provided some sense of normalcy for me of, okay, this is the way that my world is going to operate for a while. And I think that's maybe the important thing for people to work on. I was in a conversation yesterday with somebody who was really struggling. We had a little group discussion, and the advice for them was to figure out a routine, and know that it's okay if you have to take care of your family or yourself, or you're stressed or worried about it. But how do you start to create some sense of normalcy? And one way to do that is, here's a routine. What do you do first thing when you get up? What's the next step that you take? It's kind of like that action. As long as we're in continual action, we feel like we're moving forward and having progress.
And that routine doesn't have to be all work related. It could be as simple as, when I was going to my office each day, I was getting up and taking a shower and shaving and getting dressed and going down and making my oatmeal and making my coffee, eating those while I read the newspaper online, and then got in my car and drove to work.
Right.
That routine is blown out of the water right now. So this morning I tried very hard to replicate that. The other thing I think that I'm finding that is moved out of my routine to my detriment is any kind of formal exercise. And this is a time when I think we need that more than ever. I'm sure you could speak to that more than me.
One of the things that, again, my routine had become that a part of my day was working out, whether that was at my gym or out on the lacrosse field running around. And I think
not because you chased lacrosse players, but because you were an official. I just want to be clear.
Thanks.
You set me up, Tom, for these so easily.
I know. Sorry. I'm good at that.
Chasing people around on the lacrosse field was too funny.
Yeah. It's funny if I ever looked back at I pitched in high school baseball for, I think, 2 games, and probably had the record for the highest ERA ever. So
number of runs you gave the other team got off of you, for those not playing sports.
Yes. So throwing softballs was something I was good at. But as I was listening to my son last night, I got thinking about, that's true, is I could really focus on my work because I knew that I had this other part of my routine that I was going to go back to get away from it, so I could clear my head and do something different. And that allowed me to be more effective when I was working. It reminds me, when I was in college, I dabbled a little bit in some team sports. I wasn't very good.
I was hoping you were going to say musical theater.
No, that's my kids. But what happened was, when I was in season, I was so much more, I think, effective with work because I knew what my time restrictions were. And I had that routine of, all right, I've got either practice or a game. So I know there's 3 or 4 hours out of my day that I'm missing. How am I going to leverage those other times, to make it be more effective? And I think you're right, is that we need to find those times where we can get away from work and do something that has nothing to do with it and make it a part of our routine, so that we can try to be more focused when we're, trying to do work in those times that we have to really dive in.
There needs to be some joy in the day, no matter what. If you're not having some joy at some point in the day, whether for me it's sometimes playing my guitar or watching a TV show or reading the paper or whatever, if you're not finding at least 15 minutes or a half hour in the day, this is going to be a really difficult time for you. And I've talked to a number of people who are struggling with sleeping. Insomnia is cropping up. I've talked to 1 or 2 people who are consuming more beverages than usual. Someone told me that they have eaten every fattening food in their home.
Oh yeah, my diet is bad. Gone from really good to okay. But here's the thing I think about that, Bob, is I think your point is so right. How do we find happiness and joy? And one of the things I talk with the people I work with about is, if you set up a routine of when you accomplish something, you've reached a goal, you've overcome a challenge you're facing with, how are you going to celebrate? How are you going to take the time to say, I got that done? That's great. And it doesn't have to be throw a big party or do whatever, but it could be, what song are you like to listen to? Have that queued up so that when you finish that, you can listen. Maybe it's you have an animal in the house that you say, you know what, I'm just going to go sit in the corner and pet my cat or dog and just celebrate the fact that I was able to really focus and get this done in a time when it's not easy to do those things. You know, so I think people should think about, like, what are the things that makes them happy and where do they find joy, and how can they plug that into their day? Whether it's, okay, every day at 11 o'clock I'm going to do it, or I just accomplished something that was really challenging and helped me move towards my goals. Now I'm going to celebrate that fact.
And certainly that celebration can be personal, but you can also, because social media is becoming so relevant right now as a means to connect people, you could use social media. You could certainly come to our pages and we'll celebrate with you. We love to celebrate. And you know, if someone says, hey, I got done, you know, I had to put stamps on 33 envelopes this morning and I got it done, and there was a picture of 33 envelopes stacked, you'd say, oh, that's no big deal. Hey, I'll celebrate that with you.
Well,
And I think that's what we do for each other a lot.
absolutely. And here's the thing. I think that for some people to accomplish that would be really challenging today, because it's mindless work, which is almost worse. Because if you're stressed about other things and you're doing mindless work, it allows your mind to wander and think about how many people are, you know, how many new people got contracted with the illness, who else is in the hospital.
Don't even go there, Tom. I'm trying not to go there today.
Right. So I think that, but I think that's what happens. And so if we can find ways to celebrate the fact that we did that, we can be thinking about, man, I can't wait to get this done. One of the people I talk to loves Justin Timberlake. It is what it is. And so they have this song.
I don't have a problem with him.
I know. I just, not everybody is a Justin Timberlake fan, but they have a song that they just really love that he has. And so I said, well, you know what? Get that queued up. So when you're working on a project, you're thinking about, I can't wait to get this done because then I get to hear my favorite song. So now you're focused on the task and completing it, not all the other things that are going on around us.
The other thing with that, I love that, Tom, I really do. And I know it's a big part of what you believe in, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. And you teach people this and help them build this into their schedule. But I also think it's important to think about just that one task. I think right now, looking down the road to July or October or January of next year, I was talking to someone by text yesterday, and they were trying to sell people into sponsorships for an event in October or late September, and they were having some trouble. And I was like, I don't know that this is the right time. Even though they've done that every year at this time, it's just not the right time because no one's making any commitments down the road. You know, I saw Southwest Airlines has $39 fares. Who wants to get away right now? First of all, yes, well, actually, everyone probably wants to get away, but who can?
Who can?
And who's going to get back? So there's a certain amount of having to be focused on reality. And I think that means really living in today and not worrying about tomorrow, next week, next month, because we really don't know what that looks like.
You're absolutely right. And I think that that's why, you know, I think I worry about people who feel like I've got to get so much done, because the chances that they're going to be able to do that are limited. You know, we had this conversation with someone yesterday who was like, okay, I'm really stressed, but I'm walking my dog. And they were talking about how many walks they had with their dog, and their dog was exhausted. And they're like, okay, well, today I'm just going to do 3 things. And I said, you know what? If you're feeling challenged right now to do anything, what if you just do one thing and say, okay, I did my one thing, and tomorrow I'm going to try and do one more thing. And if I feel like I completed that and I feel good, the next day, maybe I'll really focus on 2 things, and give ourselves the space to understand that there are things going on around us and we might not be as effective as we typically are.
Tom, I just want to give some comments. We've got comments maybe we'll see on Facebook now. Nettie said, I totally clicked on the $39 fare sale and I'm looking at purchasing those tickets. So Nettie's willing to take the chance. Jean tells me, Jean's a good friend, good morning, guys. I'm staying away from the news. Today, I want to change sheets, a small, mundane task that I will feel better if I can tick off of the list. That is awesome, Jean. I love that. That is one of those tasks that you can do that. That's achievable. Now, I don't know if you hate making beds like I do, but it, please, Gene, let me know, let Tom know, please share with us. You know, we want to celebrate that. I know it sounds really silly, but it's important that we celebrate everything we can. And Nettie tells me that she's looking at purchasing rooms at the Rockwood Inn in Lenox, Massachusetts, which I will tell you, I think there's a certain amount of, we also have to go ahead with life.
We do.
And there's a balancing act, because I know for a lot of people, this is when they're really getting excited about vacation or about that summer travel. And what the heck?
What I think about that is that I'm glad Nettie went ahead and is looking at it and thinking about it, because that to me will be something that it's, you know, we're going to deal with what we're dealing with for a while. But if she knows that she's got this flight to wherever she's chosen to go on the horizon, it's going to give her something to be excited about and think about, like, okay, what am I going to do? And what am I going to wear? And how am I going to pack? And, you know, let me look at what are the activities that I can do. Something that just puts her mind in a different place and allows her to feel good about where she is and what's yet ahead.
Absolutely, Tom. We should probably wrap things up. We try to keep these things to 15 minutes. We're slightly over. If people are watching this later today, feel free to send Tom and me your comments. We would love to share, celebrate your successes. And also, both of us, if you're someone who's having trouble figuring out the routine, figuring out what you're trying to accomplish, or just getting your arms around what's going on right now, I know Tom stands ready to help you. I certainly stand ready to help you. That can be as short as a 10, 15-minute call. We'd love, even if you don't know us, we'd be happy, each of us, to talk to you and just sort of help you figure out what's going on. Nettie says, one more comment. I've got still maintaining routines, plans, and moving forward. I'm enjoying catching up on projects at home. And Maydell, hey Maydell, I cleaned the house yesterday and treated myself to a creamsicle mimosa. Hey now we're talking my language. Yeah, we like that.
That's a great note to end on, is that
Yes.
they decided to celebrate something that they might otherwise think of as a real chore.
Excellent. Thanks, Tom. This was really good, really useful. I love that we're now on Facebook. Have a great day, everyone. Hopefully you're celebrating something. We'd love to hear what it is from you. And we'll be back tomorrow with another Today's Antidote.